down, shorty. You already know what I'm on.
Can violate these niggas, I do as I can. I might just pull up and flex on my cool. I might just pull up and flex with your boo. I might just count on my hundreds, they blue. I'm Chloe Bands and I'm flexing on you.
Welcome back to my channel. It's Chloe Bands and I'm here with the rest of the story time. This is the part 2. If you're new here, please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn your notifications on so you could get a notification every time I post. You can already know what's going on. Okay, and welcome to the Jogging family. So right now, I'm about to tell you guys part 2 of this story. I don't even know what I'm going to make the caption of this one be because it's crazy. Like the story totally shifts. So boom, back to where we left off. So the cop tells me to get out the car. So I get out the car, whatever. The female cop comes. When she comes, she searches me and then she puts the handcuffs on me. And then the cop walks over to me. So now the male cop comes back over and he's like, oh, did these bad guys give you these fake credit cards? Did they give you these credit cards for you to do scams with them? You could tell me. So I'm just not saying nothing because, like, I'm very bright in the head. As we can reference my 14 and pregnant story, I'm very familiar with the police and the tactics that they use to try to like make people talk and stuff like that. I'm very familiar, so I know how to move with them. So now I'm not saying nothing. So then he's like, oh, could you just answer one question? Is that your boyfriend? If you tell me if that's your boyfriend, I'll let y'all ride to the county together. Like basically we will be in the back seat together riding to the jail. First of all, cops will trick your ass. They don't have no obligation to keep their word to you. And it's just not worth it. I'm already going to jail. Like, what's the difference with me riding in the car with you? So we can what? So we can incriminate ourselves in the car together? No, I'm good. So I'm like, listen, sir, I would like to exercise my Fifth Amendment to remain silent. Thank you. I don't have anything to say. So I was quiet. That's me. I know how to move. I'm not on that talking with the police. Because a lot of people don't understand this. Once you say one thing to the cops, hello, my name is, hello, this is this and da 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 da, that is a statement. I don't need nobody saying I'm saying no statement. I don't need nothing. Because the cops could say for months that they got a statement on this person. And all you told the cops was, hello, this is my cousin. And then they say, yeah, this person wrote a statement. No, talking to them is a statement. I'm not with that. So we get to the jail. I take my picture or whatever. And when I get to the cell with the other girls, I call my mother. And my mother is like, oh my God, what the hell? Like my mother she don't even know what to say. So she's like, when you get bail, call me so I could bail you out. Like my mom, she's my ride or die. Like she rides or dies for me. I'm like, Mom, sorry. She's like, don't explain nothing to me. Call me when they tell you you can post bail. I'm gonna get you out. So I'm like, alright. So it was taking me a while to get bail because I didn't live in the state of Atlanta. Like I was still a New York resident. I had my New York ID. I wasn't there for more than I think 30 or 60 days or something like that. So it was a bit of an issue for me. So now I would see him in the cell like across from me. Tyler's there with Malachi. They locked up or whatever. So now I'm in the cell. It was like not really like a scary experience for me because I've been to jail before. So like it was just like, you know, girls trying to get home and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And so I get upstairs to the dorm. The dorm is when you move from the holding cell to upstairs to like the jail. So when I get to the dorm, a group of white women, they were banging on the door. And there was like black bitches in the house. Black bitches in the house. Like as soon as I walk inside the jail, I hear these group of white women saying that. And they were like older white women. So I'm just looking up at them like, okay. They was inside of their rooms though. Like I was in like, we was in the dorm, but like I was out and they was in their rooms. But they was like black bitches in the house. So I'm like, okay. With that jail experience, I realized that Georgia is a kind of a racist state because there's race gangs. Like the whites stay together, the Spanish and black stay together. But one thing's for sure is the whites stay together. And I was in Gwinnett County Jail. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I call my mother. My mother got my bag. I called a couple of my friends, like a couple of my bros. They put towards my bill. My mom had the money, whatever. And they finally reduced my bail. And I was able to post bail because they said I'm no longer a flight risk or whatever because whatever happened, I don't want to talk about that. So I ended up getting bailed out. You know, they call my name. Champagne, pack it up. If you ever been to jail, when they tell you pack it up, baby, are you out of here, okay? Champagne, pack it up. So I was out of there. I'm like, bye, bitches. So when I get to my, I this story. So before they reduced my bail and let me go, whatever, and let me be able to post bail, I was in a holding cell by myself, because being at the fact that when we go to court, me and him would see each other, we would be talking and stuff like that, so I got in trouble, right? So the COs put me in a cell by myself. When I was in a cell by myself, I started getting a really bad, like, stomach pain. I started cramping really bad, and I missed my period, like, the month before. I told him, like, I missed my period. I don't know if I'm pregnant. I don't know. I had that conversation with him. So I started, like, leaking, like, a lot of blood. It was, like, really, like, it was nasty. And I was calling for the COs to come, like, help me or give me a pad or, like, take me to the nurse, and they never came. So until that whole court day was over, like, the whole day of court, I had blood all over my pants. Like, blood was all over my pants. And then it's like, I went to jail in a pink wig. It was winter time. My face got really white and pale. I had a pink wig on. I'm about to try to insert clips to show y'all how crazy I was looking if I could find my mugshot picture. But I was looking mad crazy, and I had blood on my pants. Like, I was just really depressed. Like, I had the worst experience. Jail is never a good experience, but that was by far the worst experience I ever had, because it's like, wow, like, y'all don't even have a heart. Like, they don't even care. Like, it was a girl almost gave birth in there. They still didn't care. So I already knew, like, damn, like, okay, I'm probably having a miscarriage, whatever the case may be. So I get bailed out. I come home, and I go to my aunt's house. I'm knocking out over there because I have to go to the Bill's bondsman, sign some paperwork, whatever. So now fast forward to, I'm calling his peoples, they calling me, and I'm posting on Facebook. So mind y'all, Benny, the rapper that I was talking to before him, that was his friend, he never knew me and him was dealing. So once I said, free my man, Benny was like, what? You're, like, he started going crazy on me. And so everybody knew, like, okay, whatever. And then when Tyler called me, I'm like, this is what Benny's saying, And so he made a call, and, like, him and Benny had words or something, and they was just, like, not really cool at that point in time, because Benny was disrespecting me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So Tyler's dad was calling me, telling me his aunt is getting him out, whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Mind you, I never met these aunts that's down here. Like, it was only something that I was hearing about. I never met them. So by the time the next day comes, he like, yo, they taking too long to get me out. Could you make a couple phone calls? So I'm like, make a couple phone calls to who? He like, the Bill's bondsman. So at this time, I'm like, damn, I'm going to have to spend my little money that I just got on this man bail. Like, I'm really not going to be able to move or do nothing. So I'm calling Bill's bondsman. I called one Bill's bondsman, and he like, oh, okay, great. His sister just called us, because when I said his name, he like, his sister just called us. Instead of you paying a fee to send the money to us, and she paying a fee to send the money to us, y'all can link up, put the money together, and pay one fee to get the money to me so we can get him out. So I'm like, oh, that's wonderful, great. He gives me the sister's number. So I called the number. I'm like, hello, this is Tyler's girlfriend, and I have some money to put towards his bill, and I just wanted to, like, link up with you. I told her what the Bill's bondsman told me. She like, oh, really? Okay. She like, where you at? I'm like, oh, I'm in Atlanta right now. She like, oh, okay, all right. I'm in Georgia too. Okay. And then she was like, oh, how long y'all been together? Like, when did you get out here? How did you get out here? So I'm like, we got here on the bus, right? Remember, this is gonna be important. She like, word. She like, not together. I'm like, yeah. So she like, well, when Tyler calls you, sweetie, tell him to tell you to get him out, because that's my boyfriend. And now you could get him out by yourself. So I'm like, what? I'm like, no. I said, we talking about the wrong person. We probably not talking about the right person. So I start going over his charges. I'm like, is yours? Because it was many people with the same name as Tyler in the jail, same first and last name. So I'm like, let's just go over these names, because maybe we got a misunderstanding. So I'm telling her the charges. She like, yep, that's exactly what my man is in there for. So I banged it on her. A couple minutes later, Tyler calling me like, oh, you ruined everything. Now I got to stay in here. You better find a way to get me out. So I'm like, what? Like, what you mean I got to find a way? Like, you cheating on me. Like, you have a whole girlfriend out here. Come to find out, this girl is the girl that picked him up when we first got there. You feel me? When I told him that I wasn't paying for that Uber. So he was telling people, don't tell me to not leave Georgia without him. So I'm like, what? Like, I'm done with him. Like, it's over. It's a wrap. Right? So he ends up calling me. He sweet talked me and told me that this girl, he's only using her and whatever. That should have been a red flag. Whenever a man tell you he's using a girl for something, a real man is not going to use no woman for nothing. So, long story short, he reeled me back in. And the night that she actually bailed him out was the same night I left to go to New York. I left Atlanta. I couldn't take it no more. Because me and my aunt was not getting along. You know when you in somebody else's crib, you like, you know, for too long, you overstay your welcome. It was kind of one of those situations. When I got to New York, I officially went legit. Like, I wasn't getting fast money no more. I started doing hair. I started selling hair. I started just getting my money the regular way, like regular people. So I'm back on my feet. He's out or whatever, and he tells me he don't got no phone, this and that and the third. I mail him a phone. I'm still rocking with him. He telling me he's staying by his family, his aunt. I'm believing him. Months go by. This relationship turned into me supporting him taking everything from me. He would call me like, oh, I'm pop. I need re-up money, to the point where once I'm finishing doing these, taking my last client, doing hair for the day, I'm running to Western Union, sending him half the money I made. Like, it was just really, 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 really bad. Like, it was just really bad. Like, he was always asking me for money. We was on okay terms. It was rocky, but we was on okay terms. So now it's time for us to go to court. So I fly to Georgia. I get a B&B. His friend Malachi calls me like, yo, I don't got a way to go. You know, I'm just out here for the court date just like everybody else. Let me just stay with you. I'm like, cool. You can stay with me, bro. You good. So I'm wondering why Tyler is not pulling up on me when I'm here and I'm in my B&B in Atlanta. So we go to court the next day. When we go to court, I walk into court. Yo, why did he walk into the court with this girl? Why did he walk into the court with this girl? I'm like, what? I'm like, come outside right now, shorty. You already know what I'm on. Come outside right now before I hurt you here. So she like, all right, we outside with it. So now we walk into the escalator. I don't know if God whispered in her ear, like, do not go with that crazy lady. She's going to kill you. Or I don't know what she's going to do to you. So now I'm like, okay, whatever. We go to court. They finish talking to me. They give me a date of return, whatever the case may be. So now she's sitting in the back with him. I walked to the back out, like where they sitting when the judge told me I could get down from the thing, and I stomped on her foot. She was not trying to, because I'm trying to make her come outside. Like, girl, I want you to come outside, because honestly, like, where's my mother, bro? You come outside, I'm going to violate you right now. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. So now she not coming out. So I'm telling this nigga, I'm like, are you serious? Like, because we in the courtroom, so we got to be, I'm like, are you serious? You really doing this to me? You trying to play me for this girl? Like, she's dirt. Like, she was dirt. She had on Jordans, the old ones, the Spanish ones. And she had on a jean skirt, and she had her real hair in a ponytail. I got weave down in my back, baby. I got my Yeezys on. Don't play with me. So I'm like, you trying to play me for this? So his bro was like, come on, sis. I'm not going to even let you go outside like this. Come on, let's go. He took me out the courtroom. And I waited for this girl to come out for over an hour because I wanted to fight her so bad. She never came out. So I don't know what happened in the midst of that. He somehow reeled me back in again. He reeled me back in. He told me no, he needed to use her car to get to the court date because he didn't want to get a warrant. He reeled me back in. So me and my best friend was bickering with our mothers a lot at this time, right? So we made a decision that we going to move to Atlanta. Her baby daddy was in jail about to come out. And she was like, she going to move him in the crib. We're going to get a big-ass house, and we're going to have our kids, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do that, whatever. So, on the night that I'm going to Atlanta to, you know, get my things together, like, I had money saved up, and my taxes was coming in. So, I'm like, I'm good. Whatever the case may be, I'm good. So, now, I'm on my way. I get a phone call. He calling me. He telling me he got locked up. He got locked up. So I'm like, what? Like, that's how I knew it was never meant to be. Like, the day I'm on my way over there, you get locked up. Are you serious, bro? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get you out, whatever. So I call my best friend. I'm like, bro, bestie, I'm about to use my tax money. I'm about to get him out because I'm not going to spend the money for the crib on bailing him out. I'm going to just use my tax money. I'm going to get him out. Like, that's it. I love him. I'm going to get him out. So my best friend at the time is like, bro, you sure that's what you want to do? Like, you know, like, you need your money. Like, you don't want to. So I'm like, no, sis, it's nothing you can tell me. I'm doing it. So fast forward to us, get in the spot or whatever. We there, we waiting on him, like, to be ready, like, for me to get the money so I can bail him out. So he's calling me every day. He's being the best he ever been. He calling me, talking to me. He asking how my daughter doing. He's doing everything right. So I'm like, okay, we finally gonna really be together. Everything's finally gonna be okay, right? So tell me why, when the day that I got my tax money, and me and my best friend getting in the car because we about to go figure out how we going to bail him out, why would his name not be in the system no more? He was already bailed out that day. Because I was wondering why he didn't call me the whole day. He already got billed out. So I'm like, what? He didn't call me. He didn't text me. He didn't do nothing. So I go on his Facebook. I see the girl from the court date. She's on his Facebook. Everybody that personally knows me calls me princess, right? So now she's calling herself the queen. Because just because they call me princess, she calling herself the queen. And she was like, on my way to get my man. He been in there long enough via the queen. I was so broken. I was so hurt. I was sliding down the wall listening to Ariana Grande. I could not eat or sleep. I got 70 pounds because I was so stressed about this. I'm about to insert some pic. I need to insert pictures because I was so skinny and depressed. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think. I was crying. I didn't even want to live in Atlanta. I did this to be with him. He kept lying to me, telling me he got a record deal. He about to sign the record deal. He's gonna be up a mill. He got me. He gonna take care of me. He gonna bust me down. All this stuff, and like I wasn't with him for the stuff because I was taking care of him. I was paying the phone bill. He wasn't helping me. Down to my birthday came. He didn't wish me happy birthday. Like he never cared. My daughter's birthday was coming up. He's asking me for money when I'm only a freaking. I'm basically a child, and I'm trying to. Because at 18, 19, I'm still a child. And I'm trying to get money to give my daughter a birthday. You running me down for money. He didn't care what I had going on. He was just taking and taking and taking and taking and taking from me. I couldn't keep no money because this man was always taking my money. Like, he was always begging me. This is the worst relationship I've ever been in. And that's why it's like my standards are taller than me. I don't deal with no broke man. I don't deal with no begging man because of what I've been through with that man. Let's fast forward to recently. So they sentenced me. They gave me probation or whatever the case may be for the case that we caught together, right? So now, I took my probation and whatever the case may be. To be honest, guys, like with this situation, I suffered so much and I'm still suffering until today because of everything that this man put me through, like going to jail and all this stuff. Like COs was literally coming to my room when I was in there like, yo, all he had to say is you got nothing to do with this. He was already a felon multiple times. I was not a felon at that time. I cleared my whole record. I was not a felon. I was not nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So this was so hard for me because it's like, what? Like, you already threw your life down the drain. Why you want my life to be like that? It was hard for me to get jobs. That's why I was getting fast cash. I was just doing everything crazy because of this situation was hindering my life, and it still hinders my life. Like, when I got this house, I was not here, and this is the honest truth. I'm going to tell y'all the truth because I love y'all and I want to be real with y'all. I was never here because at the point in time, I wasn't fully granted. I was not granted full permission to be here. Okay, like I was allowed to check in and out. I wasn't fully granted the permission to be here. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was on probation. Like I wasn't allowed to be in my own house. I was paying the bills in my house, and I was not living in my house. And like I wish my cousin was here because my hand of God, I was paying the bills in my house, and I was not living in my house. My cousin, she's my ride or die. She had to come to my house to do everything. Like that whole moving vlog, and when I showed y'all my bed and set up, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I was not in this house. My cousin had to come and record this video for me so I could have content to show you guys because I was not allowed to be in my house. Like, do you know how hard that was for me? Like my first house, like I was not even here to move in until months later because of a situation with a man that I'm not even no longer with. Like I don't have nothing to do with him. I blocked him. I don't speak to him. And it's like now that I'm, that girl again, he be trying to talk to me and reach out to me, and it's like it would never be that. Never, ever, ever. It would never be that. I would never rock with him again. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think. Like, do y'all think I was just being dumb, or was I just being finessed? Like, was I just being tricked? Because this was just too much for me. Like, it was a lot for me to deal with. Like, he never physically like beat me, like abused me, but he was like very, very like mentally, like verbally abusive to me, and it was just tough. Like a lot of my friends wanted me to stay with him because they're like, oh, he's lit, like everybody know him and he's well respected, but that's not enough. Like if a man is not treating you right, if a man can't even tell you happy birthday on your birthday, that's not somebody you need to be with. Like and now I only accept the best in my life. Like any guy I talk to, like he has respect for me, he treats me well, and like the moment I realize somebody's not treating me well, I leave. I don't deal with that. I don't sleep around. I don't do anything because I feel like I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want to be used. I don't want to be back in that situation. And up to this day, I never said anything. You know, this case is I got sentenced, but it's already sold. Nothing I say matters. Like, that case is done. But it just goes to show you, like, I stayed solid and I still suffer. Like, do you know how much money I spent paying bills in a house that I'm not here? So much money. People are like, what's going on? Do you really live out there? Like, is this really your house? Like, is this somebody else's? People really thought I was lying. Down to my mother, like, did you really get the house or not? Because I couldn't be at my house. Because I'm still suffering from this man. I couldn't leave the country. I couldn't do so many things. And it just goes to show you, don't try to be no ride or die for no whack ass man. Like, just don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. I don't know, y'all can tell me what y'all think, if y'all ever been through a man using you and mentally abusing you and taking advantage of you. Because I know I'm not the first and I'm not going to be the last to go through what I went through with this man. But I just wanted to share this with you guys so y'all don't make the same mistakes as me. And yeah, so this ends my story. Thanks for listening, Zol Gang. I know my nose look crazy. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Tell me if you want more story time.
I might just pull up and flex with ya. Ooh.